We have lost many brave men, but their sacrifice is not in vain. Our tanks now form a line of steel so powerful that all German resistance will be crushed beneath its mighty treads. Today, we will watch as Silla falls, along with all those foolish enough to stand in our way.
Brave comrades of the 3rd Shock Army, today we lay waste to the German line. Push forward to the train station. Dimitri, ready the flamethrower. Good. Now take a closer look at those rats on the horizon. First 88, southwest. They will be the first to burn this day. Fire the flamethrower. Incinerate them!
Hello everyone, and welcome to our Call of Duty World at War Let's Play. Today we continue our assault with Blood and Iron. Alrighty here, so we obviously have a tank on this hill. Hopefully we'll be able to kill this guy in relatively quick succession. He does appear to be really taking a lot of ammo, I'll tell you that much, so maybe we're fighting somebody that actually is well prepared. Alright, so it took about several shots for that guy to finally kind of die. Hoping to be able to do some damage to this artillery unit over here, but it does appear to be eating quite a bit of our ammo. It's a good thing that we actually don't need to go back to base or anything and do any kind of resupplying, because that would be very, very bad, considering that we would be spending quite a bit of time doing that. Does look like there are still several guys on that unit over there. Hit it several times, but it looks like it did take about several more shots. So I guess we're finding out that the Germans, they were well prepared for stuff like this. They kind of thought that the Americans might start to shoot stuff at their vehicles, and so what they did is they actually prepared a little bit more than we were expecting. Unfortunately, due to how this is working out so far, we're going to have to kind of play this a little bit more intelligent. We're not going to be able to just simply bum rush these units, considering that, as we've seen, they don't really seem to die as easily as we would hope. Does look like that tank is attempting to back up at the moment. Hopefully we'll get some help from our friendlies over here, considering that we actually really need them to kind of jump into the fight a little bit more and help us out, considering that it seems like the Germans are just so well prepared. Does look like we may have something over to the left-hand side over here. Obviously we're trying to locate him at the moment. Looks like we were actually able to take care of him. Alright, so as we can see, we have a tank all the way back there, so I might actually spend just a couple of moments and see if we can get some well-placed shots on this guy. Does appear to kind of be hanging out on that hill. Got about several hits into him, but unfortunately it doesn't look like he decided to die anytime soon, and we do have quite a bit of armor that's actually around us. Again, still got some friendlies over here, but as of now, it's looking like we have a little less than we did just moments ago. We are getting hit by something, I'm not entirely sure what, considering that I feel like we have so many friendlies around us, but it does look like there's a tank that's actually hiding all the way over on the right-hand side. He's about 3 shots in now, this will be the 4th one, still breathing. So much dust over there, I can't really tell what's going on anymore, considering that I feel like we hit that tank just so many times and just kind of eating rounds like it's absolutely nothing. Obviously, I feel like we should really be facing a lot of the tanks when we're firing at them, but becomes very difficult when they just seem to eat so many shells. I mean, I know we're using some armor piercing stuff, but I mean, you would expect armor piercing to be a little bit more effective. We're almost having to kind of have to rely on our distance, because if we get even remotely close to these guys, I don't even know what would happen. I feel like we would just die so easily. Trying to get this tank immobilized at the moment. I feel like he's not really anybody's even in there anymore, but... Well, if there was anybody inside of there, they obviously are no longer there, considering that we just absolutely destroyed that. I'm actually going to see if I can try to utilize some of this cover a little bit over here, because I feel like we almost need it. There is a guy still alive in there. Look at that. Well, just in case you guys were curious, and the off chance that you happen to find yourself facing a tank, don't worry. It seems like fire does not really affect you. Alright, so there's a tank all the way up there that doesn't really seem to want to die anytime this century, so maybe we'll go focus some of our fire over here on these actual units themselves. Looks like we are currently zeroed in, which is not a good thing. So maybe we need to be a little bit more mobile so we can hopefully get a little closer to this. This is kind of not really a great spot for us, considering that we're getting so close to these. Definitely got to get that tower out of commission. I feel like that was almost a direct impact there, but fortunately it was not good enough to stop them from hitting us. Curious if we can do anything about this tank all the way over here. Alright, so we might got rid of that tank, which is a great thing. Obviously, if we can just get a little bit closer and get rid of this unit over here, that'll be even better yet. Health-wise, we're looking okay. Obviously, it could be better. Alright, so we did take a lot of damage, but unfortunately there really wasn't anything I felt like we could even do about that. I mean, I felt like our ability to keep these guys off our back was pretty good, but it just didn't matter. Alright, so we do have a tank all the way over on the right-hand side. Obviously, we're trying to line up some good shots here to get rid of this. As you guys can see, a lot of military all the way back in that base. Right now, I'm trying to immobilize this tank at the moment to kind of stop him from engaging us, but at the moment, he's more focused on our friendly than he is particularly us. Alright, so we must be a little bit out of range, considering that we didn't do a lick of damage to that tower, and as we know, it's made of primarily wood, so we should have been able to do at least a little something to him. I'm going to try to hug the right-hand side over here, just so that we're not exactly exposed as much to all angles, but it didn't really seem to matter. We actually got hit by, I think, the bunker over on the left-hand side. Still continuing to take damage from something over there that's really not a fan of us as of the moment. I can't really do much about him. We're having to hit this tank so many times and deal just so much damage, but as you guys could see there, he was basically crawling more towards the end, so I think we did some pretty good damage. We are a little bit out of range of the panzers, which is pretty good news, I would say, for us, ultimately. However, we do need to find this guy. I actually almost drove right into that, so that would not have been a good thing. I do not see anybody necessarily up there. However, there does appear to be a tank that's actually moving, so if I can actually get up here, this might actually be a pretty good vantage point, as we do have some additional cover to kind of help us out a little bit.
Shoot!
As you guys can see, we have a lot of guys over here. We don't have any more reinforcements, unfortunately. They all kind of perished. We're going to have to spend some of our time here to get rid of these guys, and unfortunately, we're not really using high explosive rounds. Armored piercing aren't really made for infantry, and so while I recognize that, there's still nothing better than kind of seeing limbs and stuff blow all over the place, and I feel like even though we're not getting the full splash damage that we could be getting, we're doing pretty good. Now, of course, in order for us to get out of here, we are going to have to kind of back it all the way up and kind of get all the way back to safety.
Behind us!
Still quite a bit of guys over there. Obviously, if I can kill a couple of more Germans, of course, I'm going to take full advantage of that. But it looks like there is a guy in that tower, and obviously, he's no longer with us.
There will be no cry for reinforcements. Enough talk! We must push forward to the train station!
Alright, so we're going to continue to move up. We're going to leave those guys alone. I feel like we kind of made them angry enough with us, and ultimately, I don't really want to make people super angry with us. You know, then they want to come back for retribution and all of this just terrible stuff that I don't really want to tolerate. So, we can hit this guy in the back. We should be able to deal a little bit more damage. Obviously, he's got a little bit of reactive armor there, so he is doing a little bit to stop us from dealing quite a bit of damage. However, there is another tank somewhere over here. Looks like we did find him.
Train station!
Got rid of one more tank. Obviously, a couple of guys with panzers that are actually trying to run away. A bunch of cowards. We have kind of found ourselves in quite a predicament, so I might actually back us up just a little bit. Don't really see a whole lot of great angles for us to approach this. I think we're just going to have to kind of take it nice and slow. I don't really see a way for us to get in here without kind of alerting everybody to our presence. I mean, obviously, we're a tank. It's not like it's terribly difficult to see us coming from a mile away, but unfortunately, that tower does appear to be bullet resistant to tanks, which is just kind of new technology. You know, we're not quite used to seeing stuff like that. However, let's see. We do have a tank all the way over there. If we can face him, this should work in our advantage. I am trying to take out his turret or at least do some damage to it. That should ultimately mean that he can't really rotate it, but also, he shouldn't also be able to do much about us.
German armor! Straight ahead! The train station is within our grasp! As our plane rain death from above! Crush their final position! Shoot!
Man, I really appreciate that we actually had a couple of planes fly in and kind of deal some damage there. I feel like they actually did quite a bit to help us out, because this would have been absolutely a nightmare to try to come in here without really any reinforcements like we talked about. We kind of lost our friends early on, and there really wasn't much I could do about it. I mean, I was trying to take those tanks out, but as you guys saw, some of these German tanks and the technology that they were employing just makes our life super difficult. We are kind of moving down the hill nice and slow. I'm actually going to let gravity and momentum kind of take control of the rest here. Try to get a little bit of fire in there, see if I can kind of make some of those guys a little angry. Obviously, we do have some reinforcements, which is always good to see. I'm glad that these guys are actually joining the fight a little bit instead of having us do all the work. I mean, it's great for us to do everything, you know, because you can always count on yourself to be the most effective asset that you have on the battlefield, but at the exact same time, it's also kind of nice to have some people that are at least moderately competent to help you out just a little bit. Alright, so we are the official tank buster, it appears. Nobody can face us. It looks like we're doing pretty well. Obviously, I'm going to meander over here to the right-hand side and see what we kind of got going on.
More Panzerschrecks! Right to us!
Get rid of those towers because I have a sneaky suspicion that they got a present. And while I love presents, it's not really a holiday at the moment. So let's get away from these guys. They're kind of all being a little sketchy.
Comrades! A great victory is ours! On to Berlin! Hurrah!
Fortune smiles on us! In Berlin, the Germans will truly see what they have unleashed. In the midst of all the blood, the bullets, and the dead, I found that an old friend was still very much alive. Dmitri Petrenko! I saw this man cheat death, time after time at the siege of Stalingrad. As long as he lives, the heart of this army cannot be broken. He makes us all proud.